Hello and welcome to another episode of It's My Turn Now, where everyone gets an opportunity to share your thoughts, your feelings, your expressions, whatever is on your heart. We're going a little bit different on today. Today we're going to, it's open mic. But what's open mic? Open mic, normally we have a special guest and we talk about certain subjects, but on today we're going to open up to whoever wants to come on. If you look on my link on my Facebook page, you'll see a link. All you have to do is click on that link and you will be able to come on live, share your thoughts with us. Let us know, what your thoughts is, or let us know how you feel. Today is a very interesting topic. And I thought about each subject that I pick. I tried to pick a subject that I think is pertinent, that's relevant, that will have an impact with someone. And the subject on today is dealing with individual, a male figure in your life that has impacted you. Many people have impacted us many times. There are a lot of people that have impacted us, but rarely do we get an opportunity to just share with others or share with someone, that person who has impacted our lives. Sometimes we don't get an opportunity to say anything good about a person until they're gone. So we don't want to wait until someone's gone, someone's left your life. So this is your opportunity to just come on live, and just tell the audience, tell them who has impacted your life and how they have impacted your life. So this is your opportunity. Men that have impacted, it could be a father, it could be a brother, could be a friend, could be a boss, it could be almost anyone, but someone who has somehow affected your life. I'm sure there's someone that has affected your life, someone that has made a difference in your life. So we want you to share that with us. Again, if you want to come on live, you can leave a comment in the comment space, or you can click on the link right before this right here. Click on the link, and then you can come on. We'll bring you on, and you can share with us live what your thoughts are and what your feelings are. And you may say, well, why? What's the purpose of the subject right here? Sometimes we don't realize how people have impacted our lives until after they are dead and gone. And so many people have impacted my life personally, so many men. Unfortunately, I just recently had to perform a funeral for a cousin of mine. And it wasn't until I was gathering my thoughts for the words for the eulogy that I began to think. I remember a couple of months ago, I am a therapist, a marriage and family therapist, and I was telling my wife about a couple months ago. I said, I wonder what caused me to just go in the area of counseling, the area of therapy. And it wasn't until I was preparing for the funeral that I began to think and realize it was this cousin of mine, Chester Height, who inspired me, who motivated me, who got me involved in the suicide crisis line, and told me at that time in my life I was trying to seek after, trying to make money, he said, you know what? He said, life is more than just money. It's about impacting individuals' lives. And that actually stuck with me. And unfortunately, I had forgotten about all these, those are many years ago, 35, 40, possibly 40 years ago. And I hadn't thought about it to that point. So he was one of the ones that had made a tremendous impact on my life. And there's so many that have made impact. I want you to share with us. If you have a question or have a comment, feel free to share that with us. Share this broadcast as well. If someone has impacted your life, please share. There are so many people. If I can really go down the line, I'm going to do a special sometime. I was one of those persons who came up in a home. I didn't have a father in the home, but I had male figures in the home. So I had a grandfather that was very influential in my life. I remember just watching him as a kid, just following him, and in fact, and we don't realize how important it is to have a male role model in our lives. And there's some people, when I deal with therapy, I deal with a lot of clients that are challenged because they say, I didn't have a good male role model. I've had negative role models. I didn't have people in my life that really were concerned about me. And so this is your time. If you have someone positive, whether it be a school teacher, someone, a counselor, a boss in your job, a relative, a friend, please share it with us. But I can just go down the list, and really there are a number of people who really who really impacted my life. Um, there are so many people who really have impacted my life that I can start from a child. Like I said, my grandfather was very influential. One of the other persons that were very influential in my life was there was being brought up connected with the church. There were a lot of people in church. There was a brother, Eddie Trammell. Eddie Trammell was Eddie Trammell Sr. His father, his son Daniel and I, we were good friends coming up, and I remember he was a hardworking fellow. He works pretty much from sun up to sundown. Every time you see him, he just liked to work. And I remember we were like 8, 9 years old. I was spending out of his house, and I can remember on a Saturday he would wake us up and he said, "Tony, you gonna sleep all day?" This is Saturday now. I'm like 9, 10 years old. Saturday, you gonna sleep all day? I said, "No, sir. Look at the clock. It might be 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning, a.m." He thought, and he's asked me if I was going to sleep all day. But he was a hardworking person. He took care of his family. He was no nonsense. He impacted my life. He would take me side and say, "Listen, you don't try to be like everybody else. Try to be different. Don't try to be like everybody else." That's the time when, everybody had these big afros. Of course, we're going back to that's when everybody had these big old afros and everybody had afro combs and afro picks and cake cutters. Some of y'all are old enough to remember that. If you don't, look it up. And so everybody thought it was cool because we would put our afro pick or afro comb in the back of our pocket and we would walk. He said, "Don't be like everybody else." He said, "Be different." And so by doing that, that was influential in my life. I had a uncle who was a school teacher, Clarence Curry. He was a school teacher, intelligent gentleman, very calm, easygoing person. Very calm, easygoing person. He would put me in check. If he thought that I was doing something wrong, he would put me in check. He would take me to the side and just talk to me. And again, he would say, "Don't try to be like everybody else." So you need somebody in your life that shares it. But the important thing about I want you guys today is to reflect on those individuals, those male figures in your life that have touched you, that have touched your life. And doing so, ask yourself a question, whether it be a male or female, ask yourself, whose life have you impacted? If you're a female, is there someone in your life, there's a legacy that someone can say, "You know what, she impacted my life," or is that a young man to say, "He has impacted my life"? So we want you to just focus on that. There's so many people who I can consider, who really had impact. Really on Mother's Day, we think about mothers, we recognize mothers, we shower mothers, and so certainly they deserve that and more. I mean, you cannot put a price tag on the value of a good mother, but sometimes it's not. The fathers are not recognized; they are just expected to do the right thing. Fathers are just expected to do the right thing. But really, there are a lot of fathers that do not accept that challenge. There are a lot of fathers that just don't take an interest in their kids. There's a lot of fathers that have abandoned their children. Unfortunately, in society, there are a lot of homes where fathers are in jail. They're locked up. Fathers are on drugs. And so there is someone, anytime if you have a strong male figure that has been a blessing in your life, you need to acknowledge that and recognize that, because there are so many young people that I talk to that have not had a positive role model and wish that they did have a positive role model in their life, someone who would give them some direction, someone can show them what to do. And sometimes they tend to follow a negative pattern because no one has said, this is what you should do, this is what's right, and this is what's wrong. So there are some people that have had a person to influence their life, but it may not have been necessarily have been a good person. It may not have necessarily been a good influence. So if you have someone who is has been a good or positive influence, please share that with us. I'd like to get your comments. Let's see what your thoughts are on today. There's so many people have helped me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. And when you see me, as those saying said, it's a village. It takes a whole village to raise a person. So when you see me, I am a result of so many people. I could probably just begin to talk all day and still not and leave someone out. So also in the church, there are so many people, positive influence in the church there are brothers in the church that may not have been pastors, may not be a preacher, may not be evangelists, but they have such a positive impact on my life. I remember there was a brother, Monroe Williams at Christ Temple. He was in a wheelchair, and he would always encourage me and try to make sure his son stay on the right track. And there are little sayings that he would tell me that I that was kind of humorous that stick with me today. I remember him telling me, he said, son, and when we came up, the church was different than it is now. We were excited to come to church. We were excited to praise the Lord. We had worship service. People ran around church. People got excited. People praised the Lord. He said, son, let me tell you something. He said, when the tide is high, everything floats. In other words, he said, don't be dissuaded by people, everybody you see running around church, because that does not indicate their spirituality. So he was letting me know that you really have to know people. You really have to look and observe people, because everyone is not always what they appear to be. That was an important lesson. Everybody's not always in your life. Everybody's not always what they appear to be. Some people are sincere and some people are not, but you've got to examine those people around you and to see if they are really, really sincere. Because again, everybody's not sincere. There's some people that are sincere, and there's some folks that just run with the tide. There are some people that really, are just putting on a show. So he taught me that. One of the first pastors I had, I remember one of the first pastors I had as a Christian was Bishop James Edison Tyson. And I'm sure there are a number of people who he influenced. One of the things about Bishop Tyson was a praying man. Bishop Tyson, but anybody knew Bishop Tyson was a praying man. When no one, he practiced what he preached, and he was all about family, all about relationships. The first thing he did, praise the Lord, how are you doing? How's the family? How's the wife? How's the children? He was concerned about families. And so he helped me, he impacted me with that level of kindness. I remember one time, Bishop Tyson and I were in a situation, and one thing about it's my turn now. This is my turn now, and I'm encouraging you to come on and say something. This is my turn now, and this is my truth. One of the things I like to do is I like to be transparent. I remember there was a situation that arose in our organization, and Bishop Tyson said someone had called a meeting with Bishop Tyson and myself and the group. And Bishop Tyson said, listen, he said, I never forget it. He said, listen, they're going to come. He said, they're going to jump on us. They're going to beat us up bad. He said, but we're just going to love them. And look, he maintained a level head when others might have got frustrated. He said, we're just going to love them. We're just going to take it. He said, it was kind of funny, but he was serious. He said, they're only going to jump on. Oh, yeah, they're going to jump on us real good. They're going to jump on us good. But when we got in that meeting, they unloaded both barrels on Bishop Tyson. But Bishop Tyson was just cool, calm, collective. And I watched that. It helped me. That meant something to me. And so many situations, now I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying every situation that I have been able to be cool, calm, and collective like that. Not every situation. Some situations I have, most situations I have, but there are some times where I have not been totally cool, calm, and collective like I would like to be. But that taught me something. It talked about family and working with your family. And so he was very inspirational in my life. Then Bishop Moore, following Bishop Tyson, Bishop Benjamin T. Moore. I learned that anytime you're in leadership position, everybody's not going to like you. Everybody. But one thing I have always learned to judge people for myself. Don't let people influence you or influence your thought pattern. Don't let people do that. If think for yourself, measure and judge a person by what you see. And so Bishop Moore, he was organized. He carried himself well, carried himself professionally. and he had tremendous pulpit etiquette. He would always say, we wanted to have pulpit etiquette. And he if anybody knew Bishop Moore was a preacher. The man could preach. He could take a text. He could preach. I always remember Bishop Moore funerals. He could preach a funeral like no one else I know of. And so I remember, and sometimes people influence us, and we don't realize how much they influence us. And so sometimes I hear people say, some things they may see something in me and say, well, you remind me of Bishop Moore at this aspect. And so Bishop Moore was very influential in me. I remember him taking me aside. Sometime I would maybe go to his office and talk, and he would share things with me. One brother that really helped me was Brother Fred Morris. Fred Morris was married to Bishop Morris E. Golder's sister. Fred Morris was a photographer. And if anybody knew Fred Morris was no nonsense. He was no nonsense at all. He did not put up with no foolishness or anything. He tried to dye every I and cross every T. He was super serious. But I'll never forget, he told me, he said, he came to me one day, he said, listen, have you thought about taking pictures? And I never, really thought about taking pictures. First of all, I was young. I was a teenager. Didn't know anything about, maybe 18 years old. So didn't know anything about taking pictures. And he would show me his camera. And I said, no, I'm not interested. Then he would come back. I don't know why. He would come back again, maybe the next week, and say, you thought about any more taking pictures? I said, no, I haven't thought about it. Then one day he came to me and he said, listen, he said, you see this right here? He showed me some money. He said, I made this right here. Taking some pictures. And I said, well, maybe I will listen to him. So I said, well, I don't have no camera. He said, well, I'll loan your camera. And so he and I would go international festivals, taking pictures. He would take me with him. At that time, I carried a camera with him. He sold me my very first camera. And when he sold me that camera, I started taking pictures. I remember when I first started taking pictures, I was cutting people's heads off, this or that. I told somebody that I was a photographer. They said, oh, you're not no photographer. Don't call yourself no photographer. But he told me, just keep on working at it. I began to get better and better to the point where I was making hundreds and thousands of dollars taking pictures when I was in college. I financed a lot of my college expenses by taking photography. And I owe that to Brother Fred Morris. I still can take a pretty nice picture if I want to. I took pictures for years, wedding, models, all types of things. I took until just one day I was just not interested in doing it for the money. But that was a blessing. He didn't have to take the time to do that. He's dead and gone, but I will not forget that. He impacted my life. Certainly he impacted my life. The money I made taking pictures. And so another person who influenced my life was Bishop Morris Ellis Golder. Bishop Golder and I had a privilege of once a month, Bishop Golder and I, once or twice a month, we would go out to breakfast. And I told Bishop Golder, I said, Bishop, I get more out of you over breakfast than I do a lot of preachers entire Bible class. That's the type of person that Bishop Golder was. Bishop Golder took time. He took an interest in me. We go out. And he for some reason took interest in me. I loved it. I enjoyed the fellowship. I enjoyed talking with him. And he was just a blessing. When I first began to start pastoring, he had Elder Andrew Valentine to contact me. He said, I want to talk to him. Called him over to his house, and he knew the history of Evansville. And he shared so much with me. He was genuine. He was concerned. He reached out to me. He didn't have to do it. I thank God for it. Now we have a Sister Terry Go. Speaking of Bishop Golder, Sister Terry Golder. Now she didn't want to sing. You're too late now. You're already saying, welcome to It's My Turn Now. You got covered.
Well, thank you. Hello.
Now, if you've seen the program, the first thing you have to do is say, it's my turn now.
It's my turn now.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, Minister Michael, welcome to It's My Turn Now.
How are you, sir?
Doing fine. You guys say it too. It's my turn now. So y'all setting the pace.
Okay, it's my turn now.
Yeah, I was just talking about your grandfather, how he impacted me, how we would go out to breakfast and he would just talk to me. And I remember when I was conflicted where I wanted to be into business or where I wanted to be a preacher. And Bishop Gold said he told me you could be both. Because at that time he shared with me how when he was going to Butler, how unfortunately the church gave him a hard time when he was going to Butler. And he told me, he said, listen, he said, get all the education you can. And so that was encouraging me. He really impacted my life. Welcome, this is my turn now.
He was very impactful to.
You have to say it's my turn now.
Okay, it's my
Not
turn
just
now.
first time. That's all. You got the first time. You got it right.
He was very impactful not only to his ministerial staff, but he loved people.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to see him at the convention, you would think he was the president because people would just want to run up to him just to shake his hand, just to be able to say, Bishop Golder, your ministry has done this and this and this for us. Mm-hmm. So he poured into many people. I believe that was his mission, was to pour into people and make their lives a lot better. But also, when you speak of my grandfather, there are two other people that have been very instrumental in my life.
All right.
One being my father-in-law, which you will probably hear a lot about him coming up, Harry Goodloe Sr., a man of great wisdom, man of great stubbornness, I can put out there, and he will rebuke you very quickly. Quickly. I did not understand how much of a pillar of Christ Temple he was until I got to Christ Temple. He is significant in the history of Christ Temple.
Yes, sir.
And I'm thankful for the time that I've had to share with him and learn from him. And then the last person that I will leave you with is my pastor, the Honorable Bishop Charles Fennell. He has poured into me greatly. He has allowed me to stand on his platform and to assist him in all areas of the ministry.
Amen.
You do not find a lot of the fathers who will take the time to do that with young ministers coming along, but the Lord has allowed him to mentor me, to cover me, and for that I am extremely grateful.
Amen. I was in an executive board meeting organization one time, and I told the brothers, I guess they thought I was a little young upstart. But those who know me know I'm kind of somewhat opinionated. I say what I say in love. And I told the pastors, I said, listen, none of us can say, boy, I'm excited because I see I call him AKA Rabbi Goodloe. That's what I call him, Rabbi. I see him in the background, so I'm going to bring him on a little bit. People say that I did this and I did that. And I said, someone helped us. We didn't pour ourselves on our own bootstrap. Someone invested in us. Some of us are honest enough to acknowledge it, but there's some people who are not honest enough to acknowledge that someone poured into their life, and they want to act like, look what I did. I did something on my own. No, somebody helped you. And sometimes somebody may have been blessing you that you didn't even recognize that they were a blessing to you. But someone down the line has blessed you. Someone has influenced you. Sometimes people can influence you by just watching them. There are people that see you and they're influenced by what they see. But Bishop Golder was powerful. He was tremendous. Fred Mars, serious. The only thing I didn't do with Fred Mars used to always want me to go fishing. And I said, I'm not gonna go fishing with you because I said, I'll go an hour. He said, no, brother. No. We go an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours. I said, I'm not gonna be on the fishing bank 3 or 4 hours. And so I thank God for him. I'm gonna bring Deborah. This is the Goodloe fan, the powerful fan. Also talking before I bring Brother Goodloe and Deborah on here, I will say also, Brother Goodloe and I work together on the Christian Outlook, Christ Temple Messenger. That's what I'm sorry. On the Christ Messenger, I was one of the photographers. He was one of the editors, and so that's why I give him the name Rabbi Goodloe, because if you give him a minute, he's gonna have a story to tell. So we're gonna bring him on. Deborah, Goodlow Brown. Welcome to It's My Turn Now.
Hey, welcome. I'm sorry, you all. I went to the gym, and I know I'm looking all greasy, but I did tell you that I would get on here today. My hair is a mess, and I'm looking greasy. But my father is here. This is Harry Goodlow. Harry Goodlow
All right.
here, and I think the topic is say, hey, Brother Goodlow, you got something you want to say to the people?
Well,
Go ahead,
Dr. Anthony Walton.
Doctor. Can I get you on it?
God bless you, Rabbi.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
Too long.
But how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
You
Now,
on the show?
I'm gonna tell you, Brother Goodlow, I gave somebody a compliment the other day. You know who that was?
Who?
I told Bishop Gary Brown, I said, you know what, you looking more and more like your uncle,
Uncle Goodlow.
Except I said he looked better than you do. I told him you look better than him.
Ah!
Thank you for telling the truth.
Well, I wanted to, give homage to my dad. You all said that somebody that's been important in your life. I don't know how to get this computer going, y'all. My hair is a mess. But anyway, I should have just put on a hat. Everybody asked me, well, how did you get into the field of computer technology? That's what my field is in. I've been in computer technology for well over 30 years. My dad, when I graduated from high school, their daddy is right there. I was going to go into teaching, and nothing wrong with teaching, because teaching is just something I wanted to do. That was just my goal, to be a teacher. But Daddy told me, and this was back in the 1980s, he was like, you need to get into the computer field because that's a field. Now my father has always been a man before his time. He said there's going to be a field that's going to be booming. And he kind of told me that what teachers made, and he felt like they didn't make that much money. And I want you to get into the technology field. And I always did what Daddy wanted me to do, always. And so,
is that true, Terry?
Oh, it's the truth, Daddy. Tell him. Always. And
she was obedient.
I was always obedient, honey. I was obedient. All right. Because I know obedience is better than sacrifice. But anyway, and I want to live long on this earth, because the Bible said, honor the mother and the father, and the days on the earth will be long. And so anyway, I ended up enrolling in school, and my father, he supported me from the day one that I went into school. I went into school in engineering technology. I went on to get my degree. I mean, he helped me along the way. And not just that, I would say, when we was on Facebook, you said, what could you say about your father? I said, I could talk about him 10 times. There's been times, I had major surgery some years ago, and not many people were there, but Daddy was almost 90 years old. And my surgery was in February. In the snow, it was things that I needed. And I look up, and here he is coming over to the house with groceries for his baby girl. I'm the baby girl.
Right.
And how he just took care of my mother. I know y'all probably already told that story about how my mother was sick. And a lot of men use that as an excuse. I'm going to get with me, another woman. My wife is down, and, and I know the Lord to understand. But no, my father turned my mother every hour on the hour to make sure that she didn't get any bed sores. My father had 8 children at the time. Most of us were in high school. And my mother was sickly because she had asthma, she had lupus, then she had a massive stroke. And I know people who have left their spouses when they become in that way, because some people act like they can't, I hate to say the word, but they act like they can't go without sex. But my father, he stood by her. They told them, what do you want us to do, Mr. Goodlow? Your mother done had a stroke. She's just going to be a living vegetable. Please give us the permission to pull the plug. And Daddy said, you know what? I want you to do everything you can to take care of my wife. And not only did he take care of his wife, he took care of his children. He also took care of a child that wasn't even his blood child. My mother had a son, William David Baker. You would not know that was not his child. They lived together. They lived together. They were best bosom buddies, best friends you never would ever know on this life. And so my father has always been there. And I'm not speaking for just me. I'm speaking for all of us. He has always been there for all of us. And in fact, my dad was on Facebook up when he was 90 something years old. He always wanted to do the latest and the greatest. And he's not afraid of technology.
We see him on Facebook.
You used to same thing. He'd be on Facebook.
I've seen the videos on him. I
He would be
remember
writing
one video.
books.
I was one
And-
video. The look he was, and he said, "They tell the truth. They tell the truth." He was good looking.
You know what they call it? He said they call him the meek and humble. I didn't write nothing down because everything that I have to say is from the heart. Because my dad lives with me. He's been living with me. Me and my husband, Rodney. He's been living with us. I guess about a year or so now. And I didn't have no problem when he lived with me because I could just sit here and I could just think about all the things that he has done. I would say me, but I would say all of his children. And even when I got my degree, even before I got my degree, he was still encouraging. What is it that you need? If you need books, if you need whatever, he was there. He was an example because he was a Sunday school teacher, and of course, I love to teach. So that I became a Sunday school teacher. I taught Sunday school for 25 years. I love teaching, even on the job, whatever chance I can get to teach. I'm certified in teaching quite a few things I do on the job because I love teaching. But I went into this field because he wanted me to. But he is amazing.
Excuse me for a second, Deborah. I have a couple people sitting there here. If you want to come on live, there's a link that's right below here on my Facebook page. You come on that link and you can come on to see some people saying they're here. So if you want to come on, you have to click on that link. Deborah, Terry, what about you? Tell some things about your dad, how he impacted you as well. So I know he impacted.
Well, I was going to tell some things and he came along and told a whole lot, but no, he impacted my life. Something that Debbie touched on, I'll never forget. Same with me, because he saw in me. I became a teacher because that was me at a young age that I just kind of nurtured the kids, and I babysat, and I would kind of teach kids when I babysat them. And he kept saying, well, Terry, you would be a good teacher. That's why I wound up going into the field of teaching, because I was like nurturing other kids and babysitting and doing things in that way. And it's because he saw something in me, and he knew that was path I would take in life. Is how I wound up, getting my teacher's degree in teaching, for the amount of time that I've been in the field. So he's done that. He's actually taught me things like, as far as like around the house, I would watch him do things around the house, and he actually took the time to show me how to paint. He took the time to show me how to hang wallpaper and how to do it the right way. I watched him and times tried to help as he was putting, like he would redo, like he would do drapes, and then he would make like the balances and hung over the drapes in the living room. So actually watching him do those things, one I really haven't tackled yet that he actually showed us how to do, those that were interested, and with me in particular, how to reupholster furniture, because he would reupholster our furniture around the house. So I actually saw, when we needed new dining room chairs, he would just pop off the bottoms and the backs, and he would reupholster them in fabric, had the sewing machine, put all that together. He did so much. He would tear up floors in the house and put down new flooring. He would take out kitchen countertops and put in new. He would put in cabinets. It's just so much that I saw him doing, and like working in the yard and doing the garden. He's taught me and my siblings a whole lot. He even taught me how to cut the grass, because I had brothers, but a lot of times they didn't take that interest in cutting the grass. And when they wouldn't cut it, I knew how to cut it. So I would be out there cutting the grass. He didn't tell me to do it. I did it because I took an interest in it. So it's a lot that he's really done, to help mold me into who I am today, and how, to just be an independent woman before I met my husband, never depend on a man. But when you marry, then that's your husband. That's who you take on. But he taught me tools in life that could help me if I didn't have a man. You know what I'm saying? How to be independent. He taught me how to change the oil in the car, how to put in transmission fluid, how to put in the fluid for your window wipers. He showed me how to change tires. I mean, all these things that a lot of women probably don't take interest in, he has shown me. So just a lot of life skills was poured into me,
Exactly.
and who I would be in life. You know, and making sure we made it to church as little kids, Sunday school, and you know, he and my mom introducing us, you know, to Christ, all of that. So it's a whole lot. I could go on and on and on about the things that he's done and poured into me and given me, you know, to help me to be who I am and successful in life. So yeah, I owe Daddy a lot of credit for what he's done for our family as a whole. Debbie touched on a lot of it. But it's so much that he's done, even, you know, things that people probably wouldn't even know that my father has done. You know, so he's a very smart, talented man. And we are blessed to have him as our dad.
One of the things I've learned throughout the years, you know, Bishop Tice to give us our flowers while we even smell them. And we're hearing things about, I always call him Rabbi, but I'm hearing things about Rabbi Billow that, you know, that I didn't know. I didn't know about the upholstery. But more than that, it seems like he had the gift that, like maybe Jacob, that he could instinctively tell what each child was their gifting. So he shared with Deborah regarding computers, but he shared with you about teaching and saying you have been successful in your field. She's been successful in her field. It means that he had enough insight to say, this is my child's proclivity. This is what she's going to be good at. And that's invaluable. That's invaluable.
I want to say one more thing.
Rabbi.
I want to say one more thing. My father can cook his tail off. Now, my father, oh my God, he don't still cook, but I'm telling you, he can make greens, salads, hog head. He cook anything. And I'm gonna tell you this: when my mother died, most men, they act like they can't be alone. My mother been dead 36 years, and trust to believe the women was trying. They was coming after him like I don't know what I would see him, and I didn't care. But my father told me I'm not gonna get with nobody that's gonna tell me what I can and can't do with my children. And he could have, but my father knew how to cook on his own. My father taught us all how to cook. He take his cooking seriously. He make that good old cornbread dressing, make greens. He would go and kill them, get them possums and raccoons, and my father throws down in that kitchen. I don't know if
Deborah, what about some cicadas? Can you do anything with cicadas?
We ain't tried the cicadas because I think he may be allergic to those because he's allergic to shrimp. But I would say this: he can do just about anything. And when the women would come, one lady in particular came, and I guess she had baked him a cake, and she was trying to lure him to her house to bring the cake plate to the house. I was like, yeah, this was a saved woman, saved and sanctified. I didn't thought about that when I was young. These are old sisters in the Lord. And so I said, Daddy, the woman is trying to lure you to that house, honey. Tell that woman to bring that cake plate to the church house.
She tried to seduce him. Trying to seduce him with the cake.
I'm joking. I mean, it is the truth. But I'm just telling you that he could have went out. My father, 36 years, none of us had any problem with my father going and getting a woman or whatever. But he didn't want a woman. He didn't want to get remarried. He still talks about my mother. He is in love with my mother. And, you know, I had no problem with it, but he could have went on out. Some men go right on out and throw these women in their children's faces, don't give them time to grieve or nothing. And he didn't do any of those things. So I'm not going to repeat what my sister said. It's a whole lot I could say. He did come over here and give me one-on-one upholstery work. I could come through my house and I can actually show you things that I have done upholstery-wise and what he showed me how to do upholstery-wise. He taught me, I put wallpaper in every apartment I had. He showed me how to do that too. So he fixes up everything. The only thing my father don't know how to do is work on cars. Okay. Everything else. And when my sister said he worked on upholstery, it was more than popping out a chair. My father would do the pillows, the cording, all of that. And Brother Warden and other members of the church would come over and ask him to do upholstery. He could do anything you see upholstery. My father took upholstery in high school, and he upholstered everything. He told me the story just yesterday about how his mother said, I sure wish I could get my couch upholstered. He said he took that clay. He loved his mother. He took upholstery in high school to be able to reupholster his couch for his mother. And he did it.
Ask your dad, tell your dad, I want to know what male figure impacted his life.
What male figure impacted your life, Daddy?
Hmm.
He said, what male figure impacted your life? What man in your life did you think of that impacted you?
I believe it was my grandfather,
Oh, your grandfather was. Who was your grandfather?
Mo Sanders.
Mo Sanders. Now he's Moselle Sanders' first cousin, y'all. Y'all may not
Moselle
know.
Sanders, huh?
Yeah, so Mo Sanders was his grandfather.
Mo Sanders, not Moselle Sanders, Mo Sanders.
Mose. How you spell it, Daddy?
Mose. Moselle is Mozell.
Okay.
It's
My
Mose.
grandfather is Mose, like in the Bible.
Moses. Yeah, Moses.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good.
His mother was a Sanders. We're gonna let other people give homage to their parents. I've been to the gym. I got to get on that bike. I got to ride a few miles real quick. I know.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining. Again, if anybody else wants to come, if they want to come on, please leave your comments so we can read your comments. Or please, there's a link that's right below this. Look on my Facebook page. There's a link that you can come on live. Certainly, you all are blessed to have a tremendous father, and I know firsthand that I worked with him as a young person. And when we had a little dark room, remember the little dark room we had at Christ Temple down the base, we would spend hours and hours with that and just had good talking. We used to have the brotherhood, and we have men get together and just share stories with that. And certainly, but this is what one of the episodes that I am planning on doing. I want to do an episode of men who are raised their children without wife, such as once your wife passed. And I want to do an episode. I'm going to do an episode of women who raised their kids without a father. So that'll be coming sometime in the future. So Rabbi Billow, maybe you'll be one of the ones we'll talk about. What was like for you to raise your daughters. You got some tough daughters now. I'm gonna just keep it real. There's some tough sisters. They have.
See that baby girl.
I know it's tough. Terry's tough. Tanya's tough. They all are tough. So tough. And your son. So he just smiled. He smiled. But you taught them how to stand on their own 2 feet. That I do know.
Thanks for having us. I gotta go. I just got back from the gym, and I gotta go get on my bike and ride around for a few miles, y'all. Thank you.
I'm still investigating the electric bike, Deborah.
Okay, we gonna get one.
I'm looking to get one real soon. Listen, Terry, do you have anything? Anyone else that has impacted your life, Terry? Again, these people saying they're on here, but I'm telling you, if you want to come on, if you want to say something, please click the link below. And we'll bring you on or give a remark. Terry, who else has influenced your life?
My dad is the only person I thought of. He was one of my mind all day when I commented on this page.
Right.
That's okay. Yeah.
That's all right.
Up, yeah. He was the one growing up. So
good,
yeah.
Good. Well, but and that's a blessing, really. It's a blessing that you can acknowledge that he plays such a positive role in your life because, as like I said, as a therapist, I deal with a lot of people who have issues with their father. They didn't have a strong father figure, and so that when you have a father that's leading you in a good way, who's caring and support, that's a blessing. So we appreciate you coming on here and just sharing that with us.
Yes, you are very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So,
all right.
Continue to watch the program. All right.
I will. I'm in between like 2 meetings, so I wanted to pop in. That's why I wasn't here right at 8, and I have a few minutes left. The other meeting that I got to jump back on. Okay.
That's all right. Anytime. Remember, when you come on, it's your turn.
It's my turn. All right.
Thank you again for joining. All right. We're so glad. Thank you. We're so glad for these 2 sisters, Deborah and Terry Golder. I've known them. We all came up in Christ Temple together as young folks. I don't know if I was her Sunday school teacher or not, because I was Sunday school teacher back then.
You were my Sunday school teacher.
Well, good. Well, did you? I hope
I remember that.
I hope I impacted some kind of way. Maybe I taught you something. I don't know. I was young.
I was a young person. I know you did. Every teacher I had poured something into me. So yes. I
probably wasn't that much older than you at that time, because when I first started teaching Sunday school, I was like 18 or 19 years old. So that much older.
I do remember.
All right then. Okay. Then.
All right. I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you for joining.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
All right. Again, if you want to come on and be a part of it, just click on the link. There's a link on my Facebook page. for StreamYard. Click on the link and you can come on, because I know there's a few people on here that share with me that they want to be a part of here. So this is your opportunity. You want to be heard. But again, as I was saying, Bishop Golder was very impactful. Then Byron Johnson. Byron Johnson was intellectual. Byron Johnson was very impactful in my life. Pastor Byron Johnson. He kind of taught a balance. He was an humble pastor as well. Byron Johnson was real humble. He I never forget. Byron Johnson and I, we went to Chicago together. I drove him to Chicago for we were a men's retreat, and I never forget. We were at the hotel, and nice. This is back probably about 35 years. So nice Lincoln came, a limousine came to pick us up, and man, I kind of stuffed my chest out. I was young. I was in my 20s or so. I said, oh man, we live in large. A limo picking us up. And Bishop Johnson, he just walked all humble, just as humble as he could be. So I saw him the next day when they came to get us. Bishop Johnson said, "Oh, that's okay. We don't need it. We'll be all right." So I ended up driving him, but he was so humble that he did not he didn't want a limousine to pick us up. So learn from. Then I had another pastor, Bishop Michael Shelby. Bishop Michael Shelby. Who's in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Bishop Shelby was very influential in my life. He taught me to just, have confidence in yourself, believe in yourself. He's a people person. One thing I when I first met Bishop Shelby, I said, this guy, anytime I see him, he said, Doctor, let's go out for a cup of coffee. Let's go out for a cup of coffee. That's what I'm drinking now. I'm drinking coffee. I tell him, that time I said, that's the devil's brew, that coffee. So I'm drinking tea. But he said, Doc, let's go out for a cup of coffee. So we go out for coffee. But I learned something significant about that. You'd be surprised how many positive and healthy relationships that can be established just over a cup of coffee. So there are times that I would meet people and I say, hey, let's get together for a cup of coffee. And we could get together and we make some strong bond just through that. So Bishop Shelby helping. Bishop was a very giving person too. I remember Bishop Shelby had a small church in Muncie. Bishop Winburn has a church now, Grace Temple. Small church. I remember times when he may have a revival, not raise money, give them everything that was raised to the speaker. He was a giver. He believed in giving. Matter of fact, my wife and I, we just celebrated our 40th wedding anniversary. When we renewed our 25th wedding anniversary, he was the one that officiated our wedding renewal. So there's so many people that have influenced my life. So when you see me, I'm resting on the shoulder of so many people who have come before me, who have helped me, who have been a blessing. Okay, Judith Walker, she shares Bishop Mills was very impactful in her life. Judith is a sister to Sally Burt, which is Bishop Gary Burt's wife. She belonged to Bishop Rufus Mills Church in Kokomo, Indiana, former district leader. And she's in Oklahoma. Not sure exactly what city in Oklahoma, but she resides in Oklahoma now. And she's saying that Bishop Mills impacted life. I guess I've been blessed to have a lot of people. I never forget Bishop Mills was a blessing me. One time I was looking for a car, and I walked into a car dealership, and I was trying to negotiate for a Audi 5000, and the guy was giving me a hard time. All of a sudden, Bishop Mills walks in, and he looks, oh, Reverend Mills, Reverend Mills. I said, that's my friend. Next thing you know, he starts slashing the price down the car, just because Bishop Mills knew how to take care of business. Very influential. He knew how to take care of business. Thanks for sharing it with us. Let's see, Sister Classy Barry Washington. Godly men are great examples. Sometimes they don't get much recognition as those doing wrong. You're so true. A lot of times, these people who are influential, and there are some people, the old saying is the squeaker's wheel gets the most attention. Sometimes we hear so much negative. We hear people say nobody's right, and they say ain't no good men out there. Yes, there are plenty of good men out there. There are plenty of good men, and if you have a strong male figure in your life, you ought to acknowledge it and appreciate it, because there are a number of men that are not good, but yet there are so many men there are good that have impacted our lives. And think we need to take the time, and sometimes let's not be so critical of our men. Let's support them. Let's encourage them. If you see a man that's striving, trying to take care of his kids, encourage that man. Don't run him down. Don't talk about him. Encourage him. Lift him up. If you see somebody that has some issues, learn to pray for that man. Pray for him. Say, God, you help him. Amen. So I'd like to hear from someone else. Someone else, you got a comment, please share your comment with us. Please type in your comment. Please come on. I'm sure more individuals than these that have come on here have been impacted by someone positive in their life. You know, I thank God for all the positive people that have impacted my life. You know, there's before I was saved, there were some individuals that impacted my life that were negative. Some people impact your life from negative. There were gamblers, and there's all kind of people that gangsters, people that impacted my life. But I'm so glad that when I gave my life to God, God placed positive people in my life. If you got something to say, God bless us, Liz. If you got something to say, please share with us. There's someone you can type in a message or come on. I'm encouraging you to come on. Surely this is your opportunity to share. If someone has impacted your life, let us know. Let us know. They need to recognize. We need to recognize these men. As I said, it's too many times we don't take the time to recognize anybody. We don't want to say anything, but we need to recognize these men for what they've done in our life, how they have affected our lives. And so I don't know if there's someone else who has someone that. And there's other people I can go on and continue. There's some young men that have impacted my life as well. And I pray that I have been able to impact somebody's life. I've tried to, be a positive male role model. I remember I was at one of the schools, Lawrence North School. I was substitute teaching a resource class, and there was a young guy that was on there, and he was acting. I'm trying to figure out how I can put this mildly. I want to say he was acting a fool, but I don't want to use that. But that's what he was doing, and he was bawling the teacher out. He just acted terribly, and I pulled the young man aside. I pulled him aside, and I began to start talking to him. And I said, "Son," you don't have to be like this right here. I said, you don't want to do this right here. And I began to start talking to him and sharing him some of my experience where I came from. And he said, "Are you serious?" The next day, the teacher called me and said, "I don't know what you said to the young man, but you changed him. He's not the same." We need strong men to stand up and just be an example. To the young people. We don't need people that's going to be critical or judging. Okay, Brother Ezra. Now, Ezra, you can always also, Ezra likes to come on. You can also click the link and come on and share yourself. But Ezra says, my turn. Eugene Barber and Danny Carey was my two role models. Feel free to click on the link. Maybe you want to expound on that a little bit, Brother Ezra. Eugene Barber also came up with us at Christ Temple. Eugene Barber. Not only him, Danny Carey had a trucking company, former pastor of Jerusalem Temple. And so I would like for you, if you could, Brother Ezra, come on here and tell us how they impact your life. Let someone else know how they impact your life. And so hopefully we are the future. We are the current generation. So we're preparing the next generation. So the question is, how are we positioning ourselves to influence somebody? Are you a positive influence? Are you a negative influence? Because the younger people are looking at us. Because when we were coming up, I remember when Elder Carey and Brother Barber, Eugene Babor, I remember when they were 45 and 50, I thought they were super old. I thought they were old. But then now I'm way past that. So I have my friend on here, Brother Kevin Davenport. Kevin Davenport, welcome to It's My Turn now. You got to face the camera so we can see you.
Okay, you see me, Pastor?
Yes, sir, we can see you. Welcome to It's My Turn now.
I'm getting a little echo on my side, but I hope you can understand me clearly on your side. But
Okay, you might have your phone on or something else. You only have one device on.
yeah, I logged out of the phone.
Okay, or turn it down. The
Yeah.
first thing you say, Brother Kevin, it's my turn now. I'm sharing with you so you know.
It's my turn now.
All right. Welcome to It's My Turn Now.
Yes,
Tell us who is that.
it's a great topic, Pat. I was thinking actually, I think let's try this.
And you have to face your face toward the mic if you're going to talk. Go ahead. Can't hear you now. That's worse. We'll get together. That's the thing. We'll get together.
Yeah,
I can hear you now. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, because I'm still echoing, but I'll try to be like you come to the end of your show. But
We don't hear the echo now. We don't hear the echo, so you're good.
okay, I think part of the problem, my wife is listening outside and in the room the same Wi-Fi. But
that's probably she has to be. She's gonna have to distance herself away from it. That's probably what it is.
Okay, well I'll be best I can. I was thinking about when I was growing up.
I didn't hear who you said. Didn't hear who you said.
Yeah, she did. She's outside. I'm in another room, but maybe it'd be better if I just leave the studio and try to re-enter it later on. What do you think?
Well, go ahead and tell us who. Just tell us who impacted your life.
Well, the whole point of my conversation. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you'll have to stay in one direction. Because once you move away from the mic. So turn your head to your left and see what happens.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm right.
But if you stand still, we can probably hear. But while you keep moving, the voice is being distorted a little bit. We're gonna get you. It's your turn now. Go ahead. We'll get you.
Okay. What kind of stands out in my mind is not.
I can hear you, but you have to stay still. You can't move because once you move, it gets distorted. So when we hear you, you have to stay still.
I'm perfectly still. No.
Okay, go ahead. Who was the person who influenced your life?
Well, it wasn't so much one person that stands out. At least for me, it was a combination of people. You know, there's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child.
Exactly. Who were some of those people? Give us some names.
Well, some of them was my pastor, and actually one of them was my neighbor. I remember one specific incident. He gave me some constructive criticism. I don't remember the gentleman's name actually, but he corrected me when I was doing something. I was working outside, trying to fix something outside, and I wasn't doing a very good job on it. And he took the time and the interest to come over and show me how to do it correctly.
Okay.
And when he did that, I kind of learned that, hey, take your time and do it right. I remember specific people on my that I had relationships on my job that gave me a chance to accomplish some things, and I took advantage of those opportunities. And even my former pastor, Bishop Moore, he imparted some things in me, but also the whole church did. And that's the point I was trying to make more than anything else. It takes a community really to bring up a person and give them constructive criticism and help them to see what their gifts are. Those little comments, a lot of them stay with you. And some they just go over your head and rub off. I remember I was at a bookstore one time. As those people know me, I have a type of love for African American history. And I have to remember when I went to one bookstore for the very first time, and the gentleman was talking to me. I don't even know the brother's name. He showed me some Afrocentric fabric, and he put it on me. He said, touch it and feel it and handle it. It makes you feel different, doesn't it? And it really did. And ever since then, I started to acquire love for some of the materials in that bookstore. And it kind of started on a career, let's just say, a lifetime study of things. It's just a whole community of people giving constructive criticism, making input, reinforcing what you hear. And that's really what I kind of got out of it. And of course, my parents, both good and bad. And some of the lessons you learn, not necessarily off their good deeds, but sometimes off their shortcomings, because you often make up in your mind as a young child, there's certain things I don't want to mimic, certain things I want to introduce for myself. And I learned a lot from that, you know what I mean? So I just want to end it there because it sounds like I'm still echoing. So I'll let you go ahead and continue on to your
Well, Well, thank you for joining us, and come back on again, Brother Kevin. He and I have been friends since high school. I introduced him to his wife. Matter of fact, he and his wife share with us on an anniversary, or 40th anniversary. And so appreciate you sharing those, the village that impacted your life. Certainly people impact your life. There's so many people that impact your life, and it's just good to let them know. And so especially those who are still alive, those who are gone, we can't tell them. But those that are alive, we certainly can tell them. Thank you again for joining. It's my turn now. We have Jamie Gonzalez says it's my turn now. My ex-husband did impact my life because he blessed me with 3 beautiful, intelligent children. Also, Damon Roach was a positive impact in my life, and my sisters. I also appreciate Bishop Morris E. Golder. I dated a man of the cloth and expected more impact from him. But boy, was I fooled. But God used him for his seeds. And so, it's the main thing that God, you allow your experience not to taint your perception, but you allow it to help shape you. God placed a lot of people in our lives to help shape us. And so we're so thankful for those people who did invest in you, those people who did deposit nuggets in your life. And I think this is a tremendous subject. It's something we have to pick up again sometime. Because certainly too many men are gone, it's unsung heroes in our lives. And we hear all the negativity. We hear what men aren't doing. Men are being bashed. But let's take time out to just recognize and appreciate the positive men. And I'm going to say this right here. If you have a male in your life that's dealing with challenges and dealing with issues, pray for them. Pray for them. I'm not saying that you don't hold people accountable, but we need prayer. People are dealing with temptations. People are dealing with issues. People are dealing with stress, and becomes a rippling effect. Many men are dealing with pressures from society, pressures from their job, and so some men can't handle that. So when they come home, they unload on the family, which is not the right thing to do. And so we need to learn how to pray for our men. Pray, sisters, pray for the men. Pray for them, encourage them, support them. Amen. That's what we need to do, and we need to recognize that. So we're so thankful for each and every one. Please share this program with others, someone else. Let them know. We took a little vacation for 2 weeks. Had a lot of things going on. Had a number of funerals. I had to officiate funerals, be a part of funerals, lost some relatives. But we're back on again. We'll be back on next week with another very relevant topic for It's My Turn Now. Thank you for joining us. And before I get off the air, I want to thank my wife once again, Shirley Tinker Walton, for celebrating 40 years. Who would have known that the Lord would have blessed us to be together 40 years? We've had our challenges, like any couple have had our challenges, but we were committed to staying together by the grace of God. And I pray in the Bible many times after it went 40 years, the promised land. I'm not saying we was in the wilderness for 40 years, but 40 years is significant in the Bible. So I believe 40 years, the best year to come. Moses on the backside of the mountain 40 years. When he came back, he was glowing. So I guess maybe I'm glowing right now. I'm looking for better things. I thank God. Thank for those who recognized us, those who gave us well wishes for our anniversary. And we thank you for tuning in to It's My Turn Now. God bless you. We love you. We're praying for you. Please be encouraged, and don't forget to share this with someone. Join us again next week for another episode of It's My Turn Now. Even when we go off the air, if you think of something or think of someone, this should be loaded with names of people who, I'm sure we have more than just these people, but these should be loaded with individuals that have impacted our lives. And so many of them have impacted us. And we thank God for them. Thank God for you. Be blessed in Jesus' name. Join us next week.